individual going about cloaking themselves. Now, what do I mean by cloaking yourself? I mean by having spiritual armor, mental armor, physical armor, emotional armor. A man must understand that the world is not sunshine and rainbows. It is filled with evil, with beings that walk among us every day, that inhabit the ones that we know and love. And we must have discernment and the ability to control, or not even really control, these situations, but be able to navigate them, be able to use the situation's energy for what it needs to be used for, and being able to oversee the situation without getting too caught up within it. Now, I do have some notes that I will be reading off. So while I am rolling up, just follow along. Just follow along. It ain't gonna really be too hard, you know, just chill. So here we go. Everything begins and ends with the mind, specifically the conscious mind. Now, what do I mean by that? Each point that I read off, you know, I may read a few sentences or something of that nature, and then I may just pause and just kind of like just go over what I said. So what do I mean by that? This thing. What I mean by that is that every imagination, every thought, every emotion, everything comes and originates from the mind. It has to be conceived. So if you think about it, once you are able to conceive a thought, it can be true, because now it exists. You gave it gas. It's a gas now, so to speak. And it's, man, I'm gonna wait. It's this thing. Yeah, see? I'll break that down, what I just did right there. Because now he's finna leave. He's serving purpose. So everything begins and originates within the mind. Now, what does that mean? That means that every thought, every imagination, everything that you can consciously come up with originates from the mind. Everything. No matter what you may argue, everything comes from the mind. A label comes from the mind. It was made up. Human made it up. An idea. Whoever made the internet, the car, you know, these ideas came and originated from the mind. So, let me just set this up so I can read this shit off. So, in order for one to go about this process, or in the beginning of it at least, the mind must be completely aware of itself. Meaning, you have to have that moment of realization of like awakening. Like like some people kind of have like this notion of like when they first like awoke, so to speak, when they were alive. So that at that point in time, they remember everything going on from their life. Me personally, I've always remembered everything from the moment I was conceived. That is what the ancestors call ancestral memory, which I'll dive into in later videos, but it's essentially having total recall. I have total recall. I can describe events that I've seen as a conscious spirit that has occurred in my present life. So that just goes to show you that the mind is a lot much more powerful. It has a lot much more to offer to you if you allow your mind to show you. Right? So just saying, so just trying to stay on track. So it must be completely aware of itself for it to recognize sin or evil or self-forgetfulness. Now, what do I mean by that? That is what you call discernment. The knowledge of knowing something is much more powerful than just talking about it. The reason why is because once you are aware of a problem, you are now conscious of a reality that it was not once conscious to you. That's why when you have an awakening, so to speak, you have a mind and a heart connection, embodiment of what your ancestors and what your people and what you are going through. So that's where you get the sensation or the feeling of pain, crying, once you come upon certain information. So that's the state of awareness that you are in when you have that experience. But what I'm talking about is you having complete awareness of yourself, awareness of your experience, awareness of your reality, awareness that you are creating it, that you are literally creating every moment. That's total accountability, and that's total awareness. Regardless if it's good or bad, you take accountability of it. That's awareness that I'm talking about. When you reach that state of mind, that's where all the answers lie. That's where the foundation of being able to create, as I'm going to explain to you in this video, where so-called manifestation occurs, but it's just a state of being. It's just a state of being of reaching God, because God is everything. Run that back for you to understand what I'm ultimately saying, because some people that kind of just flew over their heads. So what I'm teaching you is how to reach the state of God. And by reaching this state, this is where you set the foundations for what you really wish to create. So sin or evil imbalances in nature in of itself is just effects of God punishing itself or punishing you. So a lot of times when you see, some people call it karma, which is nothing more than just an old Indian tradition or cultural aspect that was brought over in the late 19th century. And most so-called spiritualists clanged onto it and made it into what we now experience or see today in the so-called spiritual community, which is karma, or you do bad and you receive bad. But no one really doesn't explain what it really is. See, sin or evil is just imbalances in nature. So you potentially killing an animal when it wasn't supposed to die, the butterfly effect. If you kill a butterfly in Florida, there's a hurricane that could occur and destroy thousands upon thousands of lives years later. It works out in that way, but most people don't think that deep. But when you access a certain part of your brain that I'm teaching you, you'll be able to see the intricate details of how reality corrects itself. Reality corrects itself. That's why, as you see, karma exists. That's what I'm saying. Evil or sin or imbalances in nature is just God punishing itself, or you punishing yourself. So when you do bad or you speak bad, you continuously live in the same cycle of evil or, damnation or purgatory or hell that you are consciously experiencing, that you can attest and say that is hell or purgatory. You are contributing to your own experience. And most of the time, most people believe in the so-called, Bible or Quran. And so they're Christians, but yet they're perpetuating and creating the same experience. When in reality, there is no such thing. It had nothing to do with bloodlines being cursed. It had nothing to do with any of that nature. It's just a story on you, black man, black woman. But that's a video for a different day. So, let me see where I left off. So when it comes to cloaking yourself, your mind must be free of labels and attachments that keep you connected to the sin or self-forgetfulness that would say another version of you, God, has fell into and not found itself back to to its source or sense of self. So what do I mean by that? Some people can go through pain and go through hell and be able to see the other side of it. Most people experience it or experience a challenge and they stay perpetuated in that cycle, and they don't learn their lessons, so they don't actually go off to achieve anything. There's a reason why some people achieve more in a short period of time, or just achieve more period, or just do more period, or just have more wisdom or more knowledge period than others. There's a reason why. Because you got to think about what is those individuals doing behind closed doors. So when I said that, to go off of that point, you have to be able to observe everything, even in your day-to-day life. You have to observe everything from an unbiased standpoint. You have to observe everything. You have to be experimental. You have to see what's working, what's not working. How is your mentality translating into your day-to-day life? Is it working? Is it affecting the reality that you are living in? Are you able to accomplish more? You have to be really, really honest with yourself. Most people are not honest with themselves. So they'll never get to the point of what I'm talking about, where you have total accountability. Because see, once you reach total accountability, then you understand that reality is just in your fucking hands. It's in your hands. You just never knew. You should have thought someone from the sky could possibly bestow it upon you if you do X, Y, and Z. But you have to understand, it's always been you. It's always been you. You chose your parents. You chose even this time period to manifest back into a being. You have to understand. You have to understand. And the fact that you may even think that everything starts from the external realm, you're missing the point. You're a Christian or you're a Muslim, everyone argues about who the messenger was, but did you get the message? You didn't even understand the message. You didn't even understand the esoteric laws that have been used upon you, black man, black woman, to enslave you. They use the universe and the universe's mathematics against you. And because you probably wouldn't even take the time, even the day, to even take out what I'm saying, you're going to live again in the same perpetual cycle and continue to have the same experiences. And you will continue to have those experiences because you're not following the guidance of the true self. You're not following God. You're not following your true self. You're not following your nature. You're not even within your nature, your own nature. You're in an animalistic nature or a survivalistic nature. You're in a divide and conquer nature, 48 laws of power nature. You're in a nature that's not even of your own. But yet you think that nature is supposed to attract to you when you're out of alignment with nature. I'm teaching you to get in alignment with nature by getting alignment with yourself. Because nature is just the nature is just a physical representation of your psyche. So everything that I'm saying, the nature operates the same way your psyche does. So if you're not even in alignment with yourself, then how could you even be in alignment with nature for you to cloak yourself, or for you to have discernment, or for you to manifest, or for you to have these experiences? How? As Yeshua said, you don't reach the kingdom of God. You don't. He did not say you reach the kingdom of God through me. You reach the kingdom of God through the mother, the father, and the son. And in ancient texts, those are the chiefs and the judges. But what do they represent? They represent the mind and the heart. So in order for you to truly be in alignment with yourself, you have to have what? You have to have love for yourself. That originates from the heart. But you have to focus on it. You have to see it. You have to desire it. And what did this last cycle You know, what did the full moon in Aries and Scorpio teach us? It taught us that in order for us to have exactly what we want, we already have to know that we already have to know what we want. We have to have the desire for it.